Hey there, everybody. I'm Dave Brooks.
And I'm Jesse Nemitz.
Today we're going to be discussing my top 7 vocal style tricks. We have literally, and I mean literally, sat down and listened and viewed how many, tons and tons of questions on our forums relating to style and performance. Jesse's got some questions that he has written down. He has not showed me these questions. Have you, Jesse? You have not showed me these questions? No. But he's going to ask me the questions. I'm going to give you a clear, concise, entertaining answer. I'll try anyway.
All right. And make sure you don't get into the pitfall of skipping over information because you don't think you need it. A lot of these, in fact, I would say most of them, are issues and things that people, most singers, don't know that they need. Which means you're going to listen to this stuff and go, oh, yeah, I don't need that. I don't need to learn phrasing. I know what phrasing is. Make sure you listen to the points and really digest, even if you think you know, because these are important. That's why Dave has put them down. He's been doing this for how many years?
Oh, man, over 25.
Yeah, and you don't become a session singer in this city, Nashville, Tennessee, without figuring or knowing these things.
Correct.
So let's get started.
Let's jump right in. The first thing we're going to talk about today is pocket. Pocket's very important. Why do you think pocket's important, Jess?
Well, up until a few months ago, I didn't really know what pocket was. So why don't you explain it to me or to people watching exactly what your definition of pocket is?
Pocket, to me, based on the however many thousands of songs I've sung over the years, is where you are in a song relating to the beat of the song. However the song is set up. Are you on top of the beat? Are you behind the beat? Are you ahead of the beat? Let's just go ahead and get this out in the open. You never want to be ahead of the beat. Not really. There may be a few artistic reasons depending upon the style of music you're singing, or the song rather, that specifically might have you go ahead of the beat, but most time no. So you want to be always either right on top or slightly behind. I'm a big fan of slightly behind the beat. It just gives a sense of coolness. You're laid back. You know what you're doing. You're in no hurry to get the message across.
Well, let's give them an example, because I'm thinking right now, like, what's ahead, what's behind? Maybe I'm not quite sure. So why don't we pick a song example and sing something,
Sure.
And that way people can hear the ahead of the beat, right on the beat, and then a little bit behind the beat, so they can have some frame of reference.
Absolutely.
And then we'll talk more about pocket.
Absolutely.
So the song example we picked is Mary Had a Little Lamb. And the reason we picked such a simple song that's kind of doesn't really mean anything to anybody is
there are no vocal predispositions to this song. In other words, those of you watching out there have never ever heard, at least I hope not, your favorite artist sing Mary Had a Little Lamb and have that be on their album. Okay, so you're not going to be thinking in terms of what they're doing. So that it just gets that out of the way. You don't have to worry about it. So.
Okay, well, here we go. Which one are you going to do first?
Okay, we talked about, being on top of the beat, ahead of the beat, and behind the beat. We're going to start out by being right on top of the beat.
Okay, so right on top of the beat.
Yep.
So
slow it down a little bit. Mary had a little lamb, little lamb, little lamb. Mary had a little lamb whose fleece was white as snow.
all right.
Obviously, right on top of the beat. It wasn't ahead, it wasn't behind. It was boom, 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 boom. Perfect. Boring, but perfect.
All right. Well, what do you want to do? Ahead of the beat?
Yeah, let's go ahead and get that over with. Now, I want to preface this by saying that most people aren't going to do this, especially with a song like this, because this is a very metered song. Mary Had a Little Lamb, it died, at least the version we're playing. In the context of this particular version, most people aren't really going to go ahead of this. But there are, and I've witnessed them, cases that students or clients or artists come in and they're actually rushing the tune. They're actually way ahead, especially at the beginning of the phrases. They'll come in a little too soon. And then that sets the runway for, it's hard to recover. Once you get ahead, it's hard to stay behind.
I'm guilty of that.
Yeah. Well, I've done it too. So.
All right, so let's give him.
That's hard to
Can't
listen
even
to.
play with it.
I know it. But trust me when I tell you that I have witnessed this, and I know you have too. There are certain people who just have a hard time hearing, for whatever reason, have a hard time hearing meter and beat. Now, it is fixable, and we do that here. Totally fixable, totally correctable. But it's just muscle memory, getting the brain hearing certain things. But that's totally rushing, and that sounds way disjointed. But that's an example of rushing and being ahead of the groove.
Well, now let's put it behind in what you would call laying back in the pocket.
Right.
All right, let's lay it back. So.
Mary had a little lamb, little lamb, little lamb. Mary had a little lamb whose fleece was white as snow. Now, I did a couple of things. Not only did I lay it behind, but I phrased differently too. It's much easier for me, and I think that most of you watching out there will agree with me. On a real structured song like this, or at least this version, if you were just to try to hang back a little bit, it's much more difficult. You have to think about it too much. At least I know that I do. So what I did is not only did I hang back, but I did it through manipulating the phrasing. Mary had, instead of Mary had, I started late. Dun, 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 dun. Mary had a little lamb. And I manipulated the phrasing the meter within the phrase.
So you do creative phrasing in order to find reasons to be a little bit behind.
Correct. Oh. And it opens up holes, opens up pockets. And we cover this every day here. Every single solitary day. Whether it's an artist who's coming in here, getting ready to go in the studio, or an artist that's in the studio and that we go produce.
Well, what's the best spot if I'm at home on my own trying to find the best place and I'm recording a song? What's the best place for me to put it? Do I need to be right on? Do I need to be a mixture of ahead, middle, or behind?
Okay, it depends. It's a good question. It depends on the nature of the song. If it's a driving song, okay, and it's really kind of da 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 da, like an alternative punk. You want to be right on top. The energy level of that song almost dictates that you be right on top. If you try to lay it back and be cool with it and be hip with it, it's just not going to work. You need to be in the song space, right on the beat and in their face the whole time. Okay, if it's more of maybe a mid-tempo or even a ballad, it gives you much more creative, room.
So you should be looking for ways to lay it back in a ballad.
Correct. Oh, absolutely.
Never rush it.
Never, ever rush a ballad.
Okay.
Ever, ever, ever. That's cardinal sin, man.
So there's some cardinal sins. Something
Absolutely.
that you can say, don't rush ballads.
Do not rush ballads. Even mid-tempos.
Yeah. Well, that helps a lot with kind of understanding where to put your phrase. Like, don't rush it, and kind of be creative with keeping it behind the beat a little bit. Correct. And now I think people can start listening for that in commercial recordings.
Absolutely.
Listening to the radio and hearing,